Hey guys, I'm Alessio and this is my cinema. Today I'm gonna review Amélie, which is a French movie directed by Jean-Pierre Jeunet and also written by him along with Guillaume Laurent, who wrote the dialogues. The main character of this movie is played by Audrey Tautou, who is a French actress who played also some characters in some English movies through the years. The plot of this movie is based on Amélie, of course, which is at the beginning of the movie, a little girl who has some weird parents, which has some issues with their emotions. For example, her mother doesn't show a lot of emotion and attentions to her, and that's pretty much the same of her father, and that's why when the father visitor, because the father is a doctor and he makes the medical visits for her, she gets her heartbeat going really fast because she's not used to touch, and she sees the visit like some sort of way of cuddle her or something, and that's why she gets a very fast heartbeat, which makes think the dad that she has some sort of health problem and she will not go to school because of this, and that will cause her even more problems because she doesn't have human contacts, and that's a huge part in the in the characterization of Amélie, especially when she will grow up, because one day she will find a box in her bathroom and she will understand that this box was hidden by a kid a long time ago. So she will try to get in this adventure to find the owner, the man who once hid it, and see what his reaction will be, how he will react, if he will feel nostalgic and because of it happy, or maybe sad because maybe he will be a sad man now and he will remember of a more happy part of his life, and she wonders and she tries to find this man, and because of it she will meet other characters that after will be more important in the movie. Once she will find the man, pretty much at the end of the first act, she will see how happy this man it was to see that he found again this box, and he brought up so many memories to him, and she will think that now her task will be to help everyone who is not happy, and to make him happy again, but ultimately this would not allow her to make herself happy, and it's what the movie tries to tell us, that it's important to help the others very much, but also it's important to take care of ourselves and balance the happiness of the others with ours as well. What's the best part of this movie? The best part of this movie is for sure its screenplay, which was nominated for an Oscar in the early 2000s, and it was really well deserved because I think that this is one of the more fresh romance comedy I ever saw in my life, because they are usually very similar to each other. Also, in this one, you may understand what's going to happen in the end, but it happens in a so weird and fantastic way, which you didn't expect from this movie, even though the title in French might suggest that, but I mean the English title doesn't suggest you this at all. So it's something that you don't understand for sure when you maybe see it somewhere, and and I think that's the best part of this movie, because it talks about the story of Amélie and Nino, which are two guys which have pretty much the same problem. They have problems which they have relation problem with people, but because of two different reasons. As I said, Amélie, it's because of her parents and how she was treated as a little girl, and Nino because he was bullied in school and he doesn't want to meet new people, uh, in opposite to what Amélie wants to do, even if she is very very shy during the movie. And because of that, through the years, they developed weird hobbies. For example, Nino collects uh, photos in those weird machines that you can find in the malls or train stations, because he collects them and tries to think what's their story behind, and uh, and that's how he meets Amélie, because she leaves some photos to him one day, and Amélie has the weird hobby of trying to help people which she doesn't know, and sometimes also not helping them, maybe sometimes punishing them because they weren't making leave someone else in a good way, which is I don't know, crazy sometimes, but but that's ultimately what makes this movie good. The fact that they are weird people and they live in a fantastic world which is out of the reality sometimes, which I think that can be liked by many people, because this caused very very funny moments during the movie which made me laugh so much. But also I think that this movie can be loved not by everyone. I think it can be loved by mostly of the people who is always daydreaming during their day, or maybe having I don't know, uh, sort of they imagine uh, weird stories with people that they just met in the subway, for example, and I think that's a reason why some people might not like this movie, because it doesn't get too much in into reality. It's always in a weird place throughout all its runtime. This movie, because of those two characters and also some other characters like the painter, which we encounter in this movie, has a surreal feel to it. Like those characters doesn't belong to reality, even though they are more real than what we might think at first sight. But this is not the only reason why this movie has a surreal look to it. Another reason are the cinematography, which look something like that, and as you can see, it looks a bit greeny, yellowish kind of cinematography, which I think it's very beautiful, and it deserves also the nomination for the Academy Award as well. And it is still really nice and appropriate for the movie. Also helped by the production design, which was as again nominated, because this movie collected in the end 5 Oscar nominations, which is a lot for a foreign movie, and this movie really deserved this, because it's great, because the art direction in many parts of the movie shows how weird world we are seeing, but it's always again appropriate for the character, because every set it's particular and it's different from each other, because they reflect the characters who lives there. For example, the house of Amélie or Nino, or for example the guy who sells vegetables and all those things. Those houses are completely different and they perfectly reflect their character, which is great, and I think it helps a lot the movie. Eventually, I find it really hard to find any flaws in this movie, because, for example, as I said, there is the part of the surreality which might turn some people away, which look at this movie just superficially, and they might not get into the message of this movie. Or, for example, some jokes which doesn't get so funny as some others, or for example some parts of the movie are very slow and a bit boring sometimes, but those are very little parts and it's not always like that. So it's a minor fault, I think. And I think that it's probably a reason that we can give to the translation that might not be perfect in it. Maybe who understand French and French people, of course, that can watch this in its original language might not find those flaws as I find, just because they perfectly understand the language. So I want to finish this review saying that French comedies, as this one, are my favorite comedies because I watched just a few of them, but they always made me laugh so much. I think French has a good sense of humor in their movies, and I hope that if you are French, you will might suggest me any movie of this kind because it will be really welcome and I will watch it for sure. Unless it's one of those few I already saw. Then I will thank you anyway. My review is finished. If you liked it, you may subscribe. You may share it if you find that it might be enjoyed by someone who loves movies like you and that you know. You can click the like button or the dislike one if it was so awful that you couldn't bear till now. And as always, see you next time.